Scuba diving is a great way to explore the underwater world. Hi, I'm Rebecca Brayton and welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're at Total Diving to learn more about scuba diving. Let's start by having you define to us exactly what scuba diving is.
Well, scuba diving is a super fun sport where you get to go underwater and see things that nobody else does. The word scuba itself is actually an acronym which stands for the self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. But nowadays, the word scuba is widely accepted as a word itself. Basically, scuba diving is just about breathing underwater.
Who exactly can scuba dive?
Scuba diving has been made now so that everybody can try it. PADI themselves has programs starting as early as 8 years old. PADI stands for the Professional Association of Dive Instructors. And there's really no limit. There have even been many developments that allow handicapped people to scuba dive. And people who typically have other types of athletic or physical disabilities love scuba diving because once you're in water, you're weightless. So it makes it very easy to move around and overcome these other challenges which otherwise hinder them on a day-to-day basis.
Explain to us what draws people to this sport. I mean, basically, what makes it cool?
Scuba diving appeals to those who have the taste for the extreme, as well as those who just want to relax and enjoy a day at the spa. You take a combination of these two events, as well as throw into the fact that you get to see things that you would never see anywhere else in the world, and experience and relive the history of places through the marine history and aquatic life. Really draws everybody.
What are we going to see underwater when we're scuba diving, or what can we see?
I would say in most situations people like to go diving in locations where they can be in awe of aquatic life. The type of creatures and organisms that live underwater are so vastly different from that we have here on the surface. But another attraction other than just fish and coral, maybe sharks and turtles, is that people like to get really involved in history and marine history through visiting shipwrecks. And I can tell you there's sometimes nothing quite like it when you're on the surface and you're getting ready. You have your dive leader who tells you about this shipwreck and the circumstances surrounding its sinking, and then when you descend down and come upon the ship, it's like the whole story comes to life right before your eyes.
Can you tell us about some of the world's best dive locations and what makes them so great?
Bonaire is one place that is extremely popular because it's outside of the hurricane belt. Fiji, for example, is probably one of the best locations in the world for soft coral. For those who like large sea mammals such as whale sharks, they might want to visit the Galapagos Islands.
I've heard of cold water versus warm water diving, or north versus south. What are the differences between these types of dives?
Well, this is a common misconception because when you're scuba diving, the water temperature is what it is. If you're down south, the water is warmer. If you're up north, the water is colder. But you are not. What's important is that you take the right exposure protection in order to make sure that you yourself are comfortable throughout the dive. I've personally seen people down south diving who come out of the water freezing. I mean, let's consider an 80-degree water down south, which is, our core body temperature is still 98.6 degrees. If you're in the water, it's stripping heat. If you have the right exposure protection, you can be very comfortable for a long time. And the same thing can be said about going ice diving in 1-degree water in the wintertime. If you have the right exposure protection, you're still going to be comfortable for a very long period of time.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Once you have all your scuba gear, you have to know how to assemble it. Hi, I'm Rebecca Brayton and welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're at Total Diving to learn how to assemble our scuba gear.
The word scuba stands for self-contained underwater breathing apparatus and is comprised of 3 components. The first is your scuba tank. The second is your buoyancy control device, or BCD. And the third is your regulator set and console. So now we're ready to assemble your gear. First thing you want to do is inspect your tank. Visually make sure that the tank's O-ring is clear of defects so it will make a good seal with the regulator when we attach it later. The second thing we're going to do is connect our BCD. You're going to start by sliding your BCD over the tank valve and securing your tank straps. It's important to pull the straps very tight so that the tank does not come loose while you're diving. You want to make sure that your tank valve height is about equal with the back of the neck of your BCD, and that'll provide you enough head clearance while you're diving. Now we're ready to attach our regulators. All regulators are going to come with a dust cap to protect the filter. So we'll start by removing the dust cap, making sure that our regulator mouthpieces are on our right-hand side. We'll slide that over the yoke valve of the tank and tighten the yoke screw just hand tight. Now we're ready to secure the rest of our equipment. We can take our low-pressure inflator and we will be able to attach it to our BCD, making sure it clicks in place. Once we're done, we also want to secure our alternate air source, or octopus, in a location on our vest, somewhere between our chin and the corners of our ribcage. We also have our console, but before we attach it away, we want to verify our tank pressure. So by holding our pressure gauge away from us, you can start by slowly opening the valve. Once you hear the unit pressurize, you can open the tank valve all the way and back 1/4 turn. Looks like we've got a full tank. Let's get ready to dive. I'm Scott Martin, IDC staff instructor at Total Diving. Today my colleague Jennifer Brown and I are working with WatchMojo.com to show you 6 basic skills that you could learn in your PADI open water scuba diver course. All right, one of the skills we're going to be doing today is regulator recovery using the arm sweep method. This is an important skill to learn in case by chance your regulator could get knocked out of your mouth. It's an easy way for you to recover it and continue your dive. Another skill we're going to do is mask removal and replacement. This is a valuable skill in case you should ever lose your mask underwater and need to regain it, put it on, purge it of water, and continue your dive without surfacing. Today we're also going to cover the fin pivot. This is a valuable technique to help you set neutral buoyancy at the beginning of your dive or reset neutral buoyancy during a dive to keep off the bottom and protect aquatic life. One of the most important skills in scuba diving is buoyancy control. So today we're also going to look at hovering, an exercise that will help you attain perfect buoyancy hovering in mid-water without sculling or finning. This will help you become a better diver on every dive that you do. Another skill we're going to do today is alternate air source breathing. This is going to be very valuable to you and your go-to technique in the unlikely event that you or your buddy has an out-of-air emergency. Scuba diving equipment is designed to be fail-safe. What that means is that should an equipment failure occur, it's going to constantly deliver you a stream of air. So for this extreme circumstance, we're going to cover a free flow regulator exercise, which will teach you how to breathe from a regulator that is free flowing underwater.